this doesn't change Remy Ma's standing in rap at all. This is, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this. This is actually the biggest moment of Remy Ma's career. After this, I couldn't name another Remy Ma song. I could name some songs she was featured on, but this is Remy Ma's crowning achievement. Welcome to the Switch Style Podcast, where we encourage you to think beyond what you hear. I'm your host, Smooth, and joined as always by Riggs and Vaughn. Vaughn, what up?
What up?
Glad to see you, of course.
Good to be seen.
As always. Riggs, what up, man?
Man, nothing. It's good to be here. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm great. Just another day.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
He got that golden smile on.
Oh, I try. Just do what I can. But glad to see both of you. And audience, welcome back. This is actually episode 49. And before we jump into anything, we'll give you a quick rundown. So we'll actually update the charts for you. We'll let you know what's come out. It's not a new segment, but these are albums that have actually come out prior to now. So we'll let you know about those. And lastly, we're actually reviewing Ed Sheeran's Divide. Yeah, I forgot the name of the album for a second, but that's it. So let's go ahead and jump into it. But before we do that, if you like what you hear, please go subscribe to the podcast. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, and YouTube, all at
Switch Style Podcast.
And also check us out on Facebook,
Instagram,
and
Twitter.
All right, here we go. Let's go ahead and update the charts. So congratulations, Future. Hendrix tops the Billboard 200, making Future the first artist in chart history to earn back-to-back #1 debuts in consecutive weeks. So congrats, Future. Any thoughts on that?
Has anybody else put out 2 albums in 2 weeks?
No, nobody else has. Future is actually the first artist in history to do that. There were a few other artists who actually replaced themselves on the charts, but
I saw him on the Ellen show, and she was saying, all that spiel. Oh, he's the first to come out with an album, and so he's doing it.
Yeah, he's doing his thing. And Hendrix actually brought in 121,000 units, 48,000 in traditional album sales. And last week's #1, the self-titled album, Future, actually dropped to #2, earning 64,000 units. So Future has the #1 and 2 albums.
#2, that's big.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah, so congrats, Future.
Against yourself.
I know Tupac is turning over in his grave. Like, man, I shouldn't have put out a double album. I should
Right.
have put out one and the other.
Right, you should have. So congrats, Future. And at #4, Little Big Town's The Breaker. They scored 51,000 units, 44,000 in traditional album sales. And also country singer Aaron Watson, he snags his first top 10 album as Vaquero drops in at #10, earning 39,000 units, 37,000 in traditional album sales.
I think you did it smooth.
I tried to, man. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, but it sounded okay. So we'll just roll with that. Any other thoughts on the 200? Good. Well, on the Hot 100, the guy we're talking about tonight, Ed Sheeran, scores a 6th non-consecutive week at #1 with Shape of You. And also, the Chainsmokers are now the 3rd duo or group ever to occupy 3 top 10 slots at the same time on the Hot 100.
Wow, that's another big one.
Only the Beatles and the Bee Gees among duos or groups have accomplished that feat. There's a lot of other acts, individual acts, that have done it. But they have 3 records in the top 10, and those records are Something Like This with Coldplay, which is at #5, Paris, which sits at #7, and Closer, which sits at #10. So congrats to the Chainsmokers.
Closer, just not going nowhere.
No, it's not.
It's a hot song. Like I said before, I've said many shows before, it's a hot kid song. Like, I know them kids probably blowing it up.
Yeah, so congrats to the Chainsmokers. And last but not least, Kodak Black. He earns his first top 10 song on the Hot 100 as Tunnel Vision rockets to #8. And audience, if you don't know, Kodak Black, he was actually arrested recently. So he has a top 10 record in jail. So congrats, Kodak Black. Hopefully, you work out your legal situation, and it is what it is.
It's keeping it real.
Yeah. Stay out of trouble, man. I know it's probably easier said than done, but.
And for all you young people out there, he's keeping it real, and that's real tragic.
Very tragic, very sad.
Gotta do better, people. Gotta do better.
So that's actually it for On the Charts. But before we move on to what's new, again, go subscribe to the podcast. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play Music, SoundCloud, and YouTube. All at Switch Style Podcast. And also check us out on Facebook,
Instagram,
and
Twitter.
All right, so we'll check out some new albums. And audience, these albums actually aren't new. They came out in previous weeks. But when they came out, we didn't actually tell you about them because we didn't know about them. And these are a lot of notable albums that have come out that we do want to tell you about. And the first is by Kareem Riggins. His latest is titled Head Not Sweet. And Kareem Riggins, he produced the majority of Common's last album, Black America Again. He's a jazz drummer from Detroit, came up under the famed producer Jay Dilla, your favorite producer's producer. So that's Kareem Riggins. And the next guy is Stormzy. He's actually the top rapper out of London. He's good buddies with Ed Sheeran, who we're talking about later. The name of his album is Gang Signs and Prayer. The next is Steve Lacy. His demo EP dropped, and Steve Lacy is actually a part of the Internet, the R&B group Internet. He actually plays guitar for them. And Anna Wise is the next. Her latest album, The Feminine Act 2, was recently put out, and Anna Wise, I know her from Kendrick Lamar's work. She was featured on Good Kid, Mad City, and To Pimp a Butterfly as well. And we talked about Thundercat last week. She actually scored a Grammy for her work on that same song, These Walls, with Thundercat.
Okay.
And Kendrick. So she's a Grammy winner. And Matt Martian, who's another member of R&B group The Internet. His latest is titled The Drum Chord Theory, and he's from College Park, Georgia. So all you people in Atlanta out there, that's your homeboy. And last but not least, Ronald Bruner Jr. We talked about his brother last week, so audience, go back, check out episode 48. Thundercat, Stephen Bruner is his brother, and the oldest brother is Ronald Bruner Jr. He plays drums, and he's back with his latest Triumph.
So, family doing big things.
Yeah,
Right.
we just need the little brother to put out an album.
Yeah, because he's with the Internet, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Look like they just rolling on the Internet. He should have just went on and did.
Right. He should, and he might, because Sid's album came out this year. Matt has an album, and Steve Lacy.
It's probably hard though coming out right beside your brother. You know, it might cause a little rift at the dinner table.
Right, Thanksgiving. Why you put your album out next to mine?
Mm-hmm.
So congratulations to all of those artists, and audience, go check them out. Kareem Riggins, Stormzy, Steve Lacy, Anna Wise, Matt Martian, and Ronald Bruner Jr. So check all them out. Any thoughts on those?
I can't wait to take a listen.
Right.
I mean, they came out already, but it's like, a new car. A used car is new to me.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'll actually jump into the Ed Sheeran review. So all you Cheerios, hope you're ready.
That's what they call
Yeah.
Cheerios.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Like Cheerios. So here we go. We'll actually give you some quick background info on Ed Sheeran before we start. So he was actually born February 17th in 1991 in Halifax, West Yorkshire, England. He's currently signed to Atlantic Records and released his Atlantic debut Plus in 2011. His sophomore effort Multiply followed in 2014. He has also written songs for Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber, The Weeknd, One Direction, and many more. And to date, Ed Sheeran has scored 12 Hot 100 singles, including top 10 hits Don't, Thinking Out Loud, Castle on the Hill, and Shape of You. He's also earned 4 million plus in U.S. album sales only, and 2 Grammy Awards. So audience, that's just U.S. album sales. We're not taking into account what he's done around the world, which I'm sure is a whole lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's about to be a lot next week.
It's actually one thing I like about this album. He touches all over the place. It's like kind of a world album.
So Riggs, while we're jumping into it, let me ask you this. When did you first hear Ed Sheeran?
I saw him on, I think MTV really, with the video with the puppet. But that definitely stuck with me. And he's definitely a talented dude.
Vaughn, what about you? When did you first hear Ed Sheeran?
I'm new to him.
New? Okay.
Yes. I think we talked about him probably like 2 weeks ago, maybe. And I saw the video, and I was like, oh, he was with the girl. They was boxing. Like it's a cute little video. Shape of You, the video for Shape of You. So I'm new to him.
And audience, I did want to let you guys know Ed Sheeran, he actually had about half a dozen body pieces of work before he actually was signed to Atlantic. So he had a few EPs and a couple albums as well. He was before Plus actually dropped.
Oh, okay.
And if you're listening, chances are you're an Ed Sheeran fan, and all of his albums they follow a sort of mathematical theme. Plus, multiply, and divide.
Okay.
And they're all, the actual mathematical symbol is on the album cover. So
when did you first hear him?
I first heard Ed Sheeran through, he had a few commercials. A few of his songs were featured in commercials.
Okay.
One was the one that he did with Pharrell. And when I saw that he worked with Pharrell, I said, okay, I think I ought to.
Somebody you need to listen to.
Right, right. So, yeah, Pharrell is my guy. So, once I saw that he was working with Pharrell, and it was on the last album, Multiply, it was actually Sing. So, I said, let me take notice and pay attention to what Ed Sheeran is doing. And, he's a very talented guy. And then, Thinking Out Loud broke really big after that. So, that was my Ed Sheeran story.
Oh.
But, Vaughn, let me ask you this. What stands out most to you about Divide?
Divide is different sounds all over. You getting folk music, pop style, rapping. I mean, he did a good job of it. I think this is a good album.
Briggs, what about you? What stood out most?
Well, the beginning, that kind of caught me. He started rapping, and he was kind of spitting. I was like, wow, okay. The kid does a little bit of everything. Just he's all over the place in a good way.
Yeah, he is. And for me, Ed is a very thorough guy. And I'll just take it back to Thundercat. And I know, Vaughn, you talked about this last week, how Thundercat wasn't as thorough with what he does lyrically. And Ed is about as thorough as it gets. And I love that he's very transparent in what he says lyrically, and he puts things in a way that everyone can understand. Everyone can relate in a certain way.
Right.
And that was my next question. Riggs, what do you think makes Ed Sheeran so relatable?
I think a lot of it is the fact that you could tell he lives life, and he's got a lot of different experiences, even though he's young. Relationship experiences, hanging out and just living life and traveling.
Yeah, that he does. And it's like you said, he does draw upon a lot of his own personal experience. And it's funny, everything that he sings about, I felt that it was truly him.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That makes any sense.
You did get that feeling that it was something that he might have experienced. Or if he didn't, he surely told a good story about it.
Yeah, he did.
He's very convincing.
Vaughn, what about you? What makes Ed so relatable?
Like Rick said, like you said, everything, you could feel what he was saying. All of the songs had some type of meaning to them. It was a couple of them that I really didn't like, but it was some that I really did like. And most of them was something that I could relate to. Like Save Myself was one of the songs that who couldn't relate to it.
Yeah,
we'll
you're
talk
right.
to that in more depth than that later, but just the meaning of it, Save Myself. And he ended it, the end of the album, he ended it that way. Save myself. Like, if I can't save myself, can't nobody else save me. So, I mean, he was very relatable in his words and his rapping and everything. Very relatable.
I agree. I think Ed has the persona of a superstar, and I think this is the album that's gonna put him out there, and we'll talk about that later. But for me, Ed, the way he describes things in his music, he describes things in such vivid ways, and you, like I said before, you actually believe what he's saying.
Right.
You can feel what he's saying, and a lot of the experiences, even though there might be a gender or a racial barrier, I think a lot of the subject matter, I think it crosses those lines because anyone can relate to him.
Now, I related more to him than I did last week to
Thundercat, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so color don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Color does not matter. I related way more better to him.
He's the guy that captures life very well, if that makes any sense. And I think very few people are able to do that. And I don't think you have to not be transparent in your lyrics or sort of code things to hide your truths. But Ed Sheeran, he's a guy, he's open. I mean, I'm sure he's probably not telling us everything that's going on with him.
Right.
But the things that he tells us, it draws you in. He feels very friendly when you listen to his music. Like, when you listen to his music, you would think this is a guy I would want to get to know. Like, I could probably hang out with this guy. But Vaughn, let me ask you this. Since we're talking about some of the different styles of songs, what were your thoughts on the Irish influence, Galway Girl and Nancy Mulligan?
To me, like the one Nancy Mulligan, that was about something in the future. Well,
Past.
the past.
Yeah.
It was the past, and then the other one was more about now, the girl that he met now, you know. So it was kind of different.
Yeah.
They weren't one of my favorites.
Okay.
Hey, everybody got their own things they like, so.
Yeah, you're right. Riggs, what about you? What stood out most to you about those two songs, Galway Girl and Nancy Mulligan?
Man, you know, it gave you that Riverdance feel, especially the first one, you know, when he's in the bar and, you know, the whole thing is kind of stereotypical first thing, you know, if you not lending to the stereotype, but if you think Irish, you think alcohol and the bar and like kind of living that free life, and, you know, so the song has got an awesome vibe to it, you know, and it's a fun song. But world music wise, I actually like the South African song. The
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that I love that African, you know, boot dance type of song melody, you know, the African guitar and everything. But and Barcelona, he went all over.
He did. It's definitely a well-rounded album, and there's something here for everybody, and that's what I like about this album. And in those two songs in particular, Galway Girl and Nancy Mulligan, he played upon his Irish roots.
Mm-hmm.
He took advantage of it, and Nancy Mulligan was about his grandparents. Talks about the story of his grandfather meeting his grandmother. And Galway Girl, I'm sure that was just some random fling he probably had with some chick. But it was very bold of him, and I read somewhere that he got a lot of kickback, a lot of pushback from his label, and they didn't want him to do those type of things. And I don't know how well it's going to go over here in America, but in Ireland or anywhere else around the world, those two songs could be huge hits. And go ahead.
And I do like it because historically there's a rift between England and Ireland, and it kind of, you know, brings it together. And, you know, a lot of that rift is, I guess, kind of with a certain class as well. But the more down to earth folks, you know, you just people in a similar region with similar things going on, and, you know, it was cool. I liked it.
And see, once again, if you're doing something from your heart, why, you know, you getting wrath from the label? It's something from your heart. How can they tell people what to sing about?
And we've talked about a lot of independent artists, and the last one we talked about was Lupe Fiasco. Thundercat, he's independent, but he signed to an independent label. But Lupe is fully independent, but artists want creative control, and I think Ed has paid his dues, and he's earned the right to make the type of music that he wants to make, and he made it. And I'm glad that they actually let him put it on the album, because it's definitely a different experience, especially for me. But Vaughn, what were some of your favorite songs?
My favorite song was Save Myself. That was my favorite. I like Barcelona, Supermarket Flowers, What Do I Know? That's one of my other favorite ones. Happier, Galway Girl. That was one of them. Yeah, I like that one. And Shape of You. And my other favorite, I would say that was on my top 3, Eraser, the first one, where he was rapping and he was singing. Listen to the words. The words are hot.
And just a quick nugget, Galway is actually a city in Ireland. That's where that comes from. But Riggs, what were some of your favorite songs?
I like the first song. You know, it's not, I guess, what you expect. So that kind of shocks you a little bit and gets you ready to listen to the rest of it. Hearts Don't Break. Was it Hearts Don't Break Around You or something?
Yeah, Hearts Don't Break Around Here. And audience,
Yeah, right.
The first song is Eraser.
Okay, yeah, the Galloway Girl song is hot. New Man, that's just a funny song to me. You know, I think men and women both, you know, in that kind of situation where a relationship ends and the other person is kind of with somebody else, but they just keep calling you and keep, you know what I'm saying? That's like, well, something must not be right because, you know, why you're not over there. So, I mean, it was a cool little song. But basically, to be honest, I like the whole album. Save Myself is a powerful song. Most people are there at some point in their life, too, where, you know, they see somebody in need and they're so desperate to help somebody else that they don't take the time to take care of whatever situation they have going on. So yeah, it's a well-written album, well-produced. So I pretty much like all the songs on the album.
And it has 16 songs on it.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. And it was
the,
only an hour or so, but it didn't seem like it though when I
Right.
listened to the whole thing.
And he hit your mark.
What's
You
that?
always say you might listen to somebody's album, but I don't know who they are. And you know who Ed Sheeran is.
You definitely know who Ed is after this. And like I said, there's a transparency. I don't think you have to be overly complicated in what you say lyrically, but I won't say his lyrics are dumbed down because it's not the word at all that I'm thinking about. But I'll probably say it again, he writes with a certain transparency that you just don't get from a lot of other artists. And I think that's one of the things that makes him so relatable. It's almost like reading a children's book in a way. Some authors are so advanced that you can't actually comprehend what they're saying, but Ed's lyrics, they combine a certain complexity and they're more profound than complex. And because he'll hit you with certain lines sometimes that are it could be the simplest thing, but it could hit you home. It hits home in a certain way. But that's what I like about Ed. And for me, my favorite songs were the number one song of the country, obviously, Shape of You. How Would You Feel? That's my favorite song on the album, and my boy John Mayer actually plays guitar on that song. So, and I think that's one of the few tracks on the album that actually expanded like the chords that he used. And I didn't actually get to sit down and play with the song myself, but I think he used a lot of seventh chords in that song, which gave it a bit more of a deeper feel than a lot of the rest of the stuff on the album, in my opinion. What else? Eraser was good. Castle on the Hill was really good.
Yeah, that was a good one too.
That one reminded me a lot of something that U2 or Coldplay would do. And Save Myself was another good one. Supermarket Flowers, the song that, he actually spoke from the perspective of his mom to his grandmother. And his grandmother actually passed during the making of the album. So that was another interesting one. And those were, Happier, New Man. There were a lot of great songs on here. Yeah, lyrically, he really carries the album with what he does. So let me ask you guys this. Is this album good enough to make Ed the biggest star in the world? The biggest artist? What about you, Vaughn?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, it's a good album. Like big, when you saying big, like who? Like big, like
Adele, Beyonce. Does that put him in that same stratosphere, on that same level?
No. I mean, it's a good album. You never can say. I don't want to say yeah, I don't want to say no, but you never can say.
Riggs, what about you? What you think?
I think it's actually a great talent to be simple and to still have people hear you, understand you, and vibe with you. It actually sometimes takes more than being real wordy. So I think on that level, because so many people, like you said earlier, can identify with him and his music and, I guess the life he portrays, I think he might be one of those people who quietly does become pretty much as big as like an Adele.
And Ed has been on record several times. He stated that I want to be the biggest artist in the world. And me personally, I don't think this album does that. I think it pushes him into that upper tier of artists.
I'd agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think it necessarily makes him the best artist in the world, and the numbers don't lie. And I was reading the numbers earlier. And audience, I just got to read off some of these numbers for you. So Divide was streamed over 56 million times on the day of its release, March 3rd. He broke the Weeknd's record of 29 million first day streams of Starboard, which we talked about. Audience, go check out the archive shows. Go check out the Starboard review.
Oh, switch to our podcast.
That's right.
And Ed Sheeran, he crushed the Weeknd's record of best one day streams for an artist with over 68 million streams compared to the Weeknd's 40.3. So that's streaming across all of his bodies of work. And Shape of You, it holds the record for the most one-day streams, earning 10 million streams on Friday, March 3rd. 10 million streams in one day for one song. And go ahead.
Oh, no, that is kind of stratospheric.
Yeah, the numbers don't lie. And I mean, in Australia, Shape of You has been number one for 8 weeks. And in the UK, Divide actually sold 232,000 copies in one day. And in the UK, all you need is 300,000 to go platinum. So he just missed platinum.
I was sitting here looking at TV the other day, and the commercial came on for Divide. I was like, all right, there you go. So they getting advertisement. I don't know when I've seen a record coming out on TV, advertising it's coming out. So that got a lot to do with it.
Yeah, you're right. They put a lot of money behind Ed this time. Mm-hmm. And like I said, this is a good album, but for me, I'm always looking for the albums that tend to innovate or that introduce something new musically to the world. And everything that's on this album, we've heard before from some artists in some shape, form, or fashion. So I don't think there's anything new here, but it's a good album. It's a really good album.
And he has a nice album. His CD cover is nice.
Very.
He has the words, which is different. We don't see very much of the words. And he got thank you in here. He got a nice picture of him when saying thank you. So that means a lot too. He put a lot into his album. He
did, and that's why I was saying earlier. He's very thorough, and it's funny. The artists that we reviewed who are really serious about what they say lyrically, they always put their lyrics in the album. Mm-hmm. I think the last album that we reviewed that actually had the lyrics in it was Alicia Keys' album. She had the lyrics in her album, and I think it says that they're serious about their craft. That's his gift. His talent is in his writing.
And he wants you to understand what he's saying.
Right. He does.
Yeah.
He does, and that speaks volume. I mean, they put a lot of effort and work into Ed, and I think it's paid off. I think this, like I said,
that's money well spent.
I think it puts him up there in those elite artists. He's not I won't say he's the best artist in the world, but he's definitely an elite artist. And he can write some songs. But Riggs, would you recommend this album to a friend?
Oh, yeah, definitely would. Pretty much, I usually, the past few weeks have been like certain friends. But this one, like you said earlier, is something for everybody. So at least 2 songs out of there, 3 songs, or maybe more, just about anybody could appreciate.
Vaughn, what about you?
I already did. I recommended it to my neighbor, Michelle. I said, it's a good album. Check it out.
Yeah, it's a good album. A lot of people are actually going to like it. And, well, this is just from Spotify, stuff I got from Spotify. Most of his tracks are in the top 50 in 13 international markets, and those include UK, Ireland, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Czech Republic, Estonia, Greece, Netherlands, Poland, Slovakia, and Switzerland. So he's everywhere, and the U.S. So congrats, Ed. I'm proud of him.
So I'm sure if he advertised on the U.S. televisions, he advertised on all the rest of them too. And maybe to get other people to hear music, need to start back advertising on TV.
And I guess it really depends with the artists, because, Ed, they were probably sure that they could make a lot of their money back with Ed. And he's already projected to do $350,000 to $425,000 in the first week, just in the U.S. alone. Mm-hmm. Where did you see the commercial?
It was on, what was I watching? Housewives of Atlanta.
Really?
Yes.
On Bravo?
On Bravo.
Wow. And I forgot, because Real Housewives of Atlanta is probably like the blackest show on Bravo, isn't it?
Well, probably so.
Well, I don't know. I'm just asking. I don't know.
Yeah, on Bravo, yeah. Because they got the whole chain, Beverly Hills, all them.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. But yeah, I mean, they put the money into it, and I think that's a part of anything. You got to, if people don't know what's there, they won't get it. So congrats, Ed. But I think I like Ed because I think Ed should do well. You know how Adele does well across all demographics and formats. I think Ed should do the same thing. He's just that relatable. So we'll see.
He look like he's just a down-to-earth type of dude.
He does. I was watching
that is pretty much the perfect thing to describe him, is down-to-earth.
Yeah. He look like he a cool dude. Like he could be anybody's friend.
And that's kind of what the new boyfriend song, he kind of highlights that. Not necessarily he talks about himself, but he talks about how opposite the other dude is. With his, wearing his shoes with no socks and tribal tattoos without really knowing what they mean and and just not being down to earth. So, he's relating that he's the polar opposite. So, yeah, definitely down to earth.
Yeah, Ed's a good guy, man. And I'm happy for him. I couldn't be happier for anybody else. 'cause he's done a good job. And so shout out Ed Sheeran. And you guys have anything else?
Nope.
No, go take a listen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing what he hit next week.
Yeah, we'll actually see it. Like they said, it'll probably be somewhere in between 350,000 to 425,000. And that'll actually be the biggest first week debut this year. And he'll immediately lead in album sales this year with that 1 week alone. So congrats, Ed.
Congrats, Ed.
Ed might be able to help us out. Yeah, I think this might be a big episode for us.
I'm in love with the body.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah, Shape of You 6 weeks at number 1, and I mean it's a very ambitious album. I don't think it's, like I said, I don't think it's the most innovative. I think a lot of everything here we've heard before in some shape, form, or fashion. But you know, he did it.
And then certain things don't really have to be new. It's just because it comes from a particular person, what they add to it, you know, it just makes it likable coming from them.
And that's what their art is.
You're right, and I hope Ed doesn't peak. I hope this isn't his peak album. I think he could do more. I would like to see him step from behind the guitar sometimes.
Oh, I think he's gonna keep drinking and keep living. So,
Yeah.
so I'm pretty sure he's gonna have a bunch more songs to tell.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. And if he ever stopped, he could always write for other people, which he's done very well at. He's made a lot of money off his buddy Justin Bieber. But I guess I'm done. Guys, have anything else?
And I'm good.
I'm good.
Has anybody been listening to anything else that you want to impart to the people? What you've been listening to this week?
Let me tell y'all what I like. I like
Okay.
Mariah Carey new song.
Really?
Yes.
Who's on it? YG?
YG is on it. What's the name of it?
Not sure. But interesting note on YG. He performed his song FDT, which is F Donald Trump, at San Diego State University.
Oh, God.
And it caused him to breach his contract. And he lost $60K.
Get out of here.
$60,000 because it was in his contract that he couldn't perform that song, F Donald Trump, and he performed it, and he lost $60K. So that speaks volumes.
The name of the song is I Don't.
I Don't. So check out I Don't by Mariah Carey. And
Yes,
YG.
it's a remix of what is this? Is it When You Love Someone You Just Don't Treat Them? Who sang that? Oh.
Donnell Jones.
Donnell Jones, yes.
Yeah.
Donnell Jones, and they remix, and I like it a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Is it the song itself, or is it just they just took the production and kind of turned it into
It's the
something?
song itself, but they turned it around.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's hot.
Wow.
It's
Yeah,
hot. I like
maybe Donnell Jones got a check.
Oh,
I hope he got a check. I mean, he deserved it. He's one of my favorite R&B artists.
yeah. Mimi can afford it.
Yeah, she got plenty of money. She ought to loan me something.
What
But-
you listening to?
I listened to the Fat Joe Remy Ma album.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was it was pretty tight.
Okay.
I wasn't I didn't know what to expect, but it was pretty good. You know, the whole beef or whatever, and you know, it's funny that, you know, Minaj chick put out a tweet talking about how poor the album sales were, and she just helped them out.
That's how it always work out.
Yeah.
You know? But it was pretty good. Check it out.
Yeah, Nicki has completely ignored her. And honestly, I don't blame her, to be honest. I don't think Nicki has anything to gain or lose from it, to be honest.
I don't really think she's so much ignored her, but she just ain't nothing she could do, you know, song wise.
I mean, I think there's something she could do, but what's the
It won't be
point?
successful. Well, I don't know. People who weren't thinking about Remy Ma before, Remy Ma's on their lips,
Now they are.
and it kind of puts a hole or a weakness in Nicki's whole thing. Now, fortunately, a lot of her fans are not on a certain side of things, so it won't affect too much. But it's almost like, you know, somebody punching you in the face, and you just eat it, and then you be like, "Oh, I'm too big for that." You know, you still got punched in the face. So,
Honestly, I think she is. And if you think about it, Remy Ma was in jail for a significant amount of time. And if you think about how long, I mean, I don't think you just all of a sudden drop 7 minutes of a song. This is something that she had been thinking about a long time. And for me, this doesn't change Remy Ma's standing in rap at all. This is, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this. this is actually the biggest moment of Remy Ma's career. After this, I couldn't name another Remy Ma song. I can name some songs she was featured on, but this is Remy Ma's crowning achievement. She'll never top Ether again, and I gotta listen to this Fat Joe record, but this is the thing that she's gonna be known for.
I disagree.
Yeah, and why is that?
I disagree because there's a new level of, I say, production and direction where a lot of rappers, especially New York rappers, get caught up in a certain sound, and the sound doesn't resonate throughout the country. I think she's, amongst hip-hop heads, been respected always for her lyrical content, but I think now that this happened, she's more on a national scene, and respected. Of course, you heard in the Lean Back and All the Way Up, but like, even if you heard all that and then you go and you listen to the new album that they have out, was it Plato Plamo is the name of the album, and you hear her spitting on there, it's like, oh wow, okay, this chick is really tight. And then when she comes out with her solo venture and she's got the same machine behind her, I think I think she's gonna be pretty close to the top, if not on top for real.
Of female rappers?
Yeah. Well, she's going to be on top of female rappers, which isn't that hard, but she's going to be at least on course with kind of an upper echelon of rap, I think.
Female rappers?
No, rap in general.
I don't think so.
Okay, now you talk about like Rhapsody.
Yeah.
Rhapsody is a different type of rapper. And I think last week you said something about, well, if they was together, Rhapsody would probably,
Oh, I think Rhapsody could get with either one of them lyrically.
She could probably take Nicki, and she could kind of hang with Remy. Take Remy? Nah.
But Riggs, Remy had several years to write one record. If you gave me 10 years, I could do the same thing.
I personally don't.
And what did the follow-up record do? Nothing at all. Nicki hadn't responded because it's not worth it at all. Nicki she's doing fashion shows.
Okay,
she's not worried about Remy Ma.
Hold on. That makes absolutely no sense.
What makes no sense?
Because she threw the first shot.
Who, Nicki?
Yeah, she made a song talking about her. So if you're making a song talking about somebody that they responded to, that's the other thing. Everybody seems to think that she went ahead and put the song out and now is waiting for Nicki to respond. Nicki put the first song out.
Did she specifically mention
No,
Remy
she
Ma?
didn't specifically mention, but that's the song her with who is it?
I don't even remember, but she went and she put out something going at this chick. So it's not just Remy Ma just came out of left field and started rhyming about this chick to get herself on, and now she's not responding because she's the bigger person. Now Nicki started it, Remy came and smashed her, and then Nicki pretty much did respond, just not with rap, because she's doing other little things, putting out tweets here, putting out this here, trying to stop things behind the scenes there. She's trying to do what she can, because what she can't do is get on the mic and go at Remy and be victorious.
If she wanted to, she could put out a record. It might not be as good as Sheether.
She did put out a record, the first one.
But what's no, I'm saying in response to Sheether. But what's the point of putting out a record now?
What was the point of putting the first one out?
Well, she was gaining positioning in rap. And that's what you do. That's what Nicki Minaj, Nicki Minaj. She's the biggest female rapper in the game.
So the biggest female rapper in the game put out an album to smash somebody who you just kind of put as a lowly person in the game. It doesn't matter. And
be clear, she never specifically mentioned Remy Ma. Be clear, these are facts.
Okay, be clear. Everybody know that's what she's talking about. Are you telling me?
No, you don't know who she's talking about.
So you don't believe that's what she's talking about?
I don't know Remy Ma.
All right. Okay.
I'm telling you, to this day, Sheether was the first full record I said and heard from Remy Ma.
Let me ask you a question. Through everything that Nicki's put out that you may have seen or whatever, did she at once say anything close to that album that I put out, the song I put out, was not about you?
Say that one more time.
Did she put out anything that said the song that I put out that you responded to was not about you? Because everybody who has something that's a misconception, you know what they always say? They usually say, that wasn't even about you, but here, I'm going to let you have it. Or that wasn't about you, so you barking up the wrong tree. that wasn't about you something, but they always put that wasn't about you if it wasn't about them. You haven't once heard or seen that wasn't about you.
Well, if they were about her, I think it's a complete non-story. I just think when you have 7 or however long she was in jail, when you have that much time to put together a record, you can completely obliterate anyone.
So that was a response, like I said before.
But if
hold on, that was a response, like I said before. Now, Nicki's, like you say, she's on top. She went at Kim. She goes at whoever she can. So as many years, and being now, remember, she threw the first punch. So as many years as Remy Ma was in jail, Nicki Minaj had the same amount of time to put something together to go at her.
But the thing is, if according to you,
she did go at her.
According to you, if Nicki Minaj did go at Remy Ma, why didn't Remy Ma put out a record years ago? So she had to wait this entire time just to come up with 7 minutes of that? You can put out albums from jail. It's been done. Gucci Mane has done it. She said, she could have recorded, and granted, there was stuff he recorded prior to when he went in, but I'm sure she could have recorded some stuff over the phone because it's been done before. Why did she wait so long? All of a sudden, she wants to put out a record. This was all an attention grab.
First of all, it sounds like you kind of going on a separate issue. Second of all, it was a response record. That's what.
But my thing is, why now?
Because it's a response record.
But according to you, these records from Nicki came out a long time ago. So why now, Riggs? Why 5, 6, 7 years later? Why is she just now putting out a record? Why?
Because, well, actually, she's still going at her, and she goes at her behind the scenes. So she said, you know what? Now's the time for me to come out with this and stop all the foolishness.
Well, she said something in the Gucci Mane, Make Love.
Mm-hmm.
She said a little line. Now, that's new. She said something. Nicki did.
She's been saying stuff.
Yeah,
the whole way through.
She been saying little slick stuff.
But why come out with a record now?
Because she's continually saying slick stuff, and like I said, and beyond that, doing stuff behind the scenes, trying to stop her from making money, basically. Trying to stop her from getting into events, trying to stop her music from being played.
Can't nobody else stop you from making the type of money that you want to make, the type of money that you want to do.
Nobody
is a huge
can
industry.
stop you, but people can try. If you don't think people can be blacklisted and put in a certain place because of somebody with power, then
Nicki Minaj doesn't hold a considerable amount of power.
Which is why
that she
put
can
out the
actually
album
stop somebody.
But that doesn't mean that she don't believe that she can.
And for Remy to even think that Nicki Minaj was the reason that she wasn't successful.
No, that's not even what I said.
But no, you
can try to stop somebody's success.
It.
I did not say that Nicki Minaj has stopped success.
But you're getting there.
What I said is that she has made attempts when somebody tries to stop your money, try to stop you from eating, you go at them. I didn't say that she has done that.
But I think that's a lame excuse. And if Nicki
was
doing
this excuse, so then what's Nicki's lame excuse?
No, Nicki doesn't have to go back at her. I'm saying Remy Ma.
Right.
I'm saying that Remy Ma saying that Nicki was stopping her from eating and putting out records and doing this and that.
I didn't say she was stopping. I said she was attempting to.
Well, the attempts, the fact that Remy Ma would actually use that, I think that's a lame excuse. And why come out now? I think it's all an attention grab. They needed a boost for this album, and I think it helped.
Hey, I hear you.
Whatever works.
I agree to disagree, but hey.
End of the day, this beef is irrelevant. Nobody's going to be talking about this years later. Because just like both of them are irrelevant, the female rappers, in my opinion, sadly have become, I won't say non-existent, but the overwhelming majority of them, sadly as it is, they're not relevant. And I don't think this changes Remy Ma's position at all. Sheether is, in my opinion, her career achievement. And she's not going to do any better than that, in my opinion.
Okay, that's
and
cool.
I'll see what she does next. But chances are, just like the rest of her career, it's probably going to be nothing.
Okay, we can only see.
And she can be the underground hero all she wants, but that's all she'll ever be. Is just an underground rap hero.
So you're only relevant unless you
There are
Unless you got Nicki numbers. Other than that, as a
There are-
rapper, as a female rapper, or any type of rapper, you're not relevant.
different levels of relevancy, and she's
I'm just asking
on
a
one of the
question.
lower tiers of relevancy.
Well, it makes it lower in whose minds because of what? It makes it lower on SoundScan, or it makes it lower in the mind of a hip hop head, or it makes it lower where?
I mean, if she want in the mind of a hip hop head, she might be huge, but there's a bigger world than just hip hop. Me, I think on a mass scale. I think on a global scale. And Nicki Minaj, she's global. She's huge. She's big. She's doing things that Remy Ma will never do. And Nicki Minaj, she got killed in the beef. She didn't put out a record, but I think it speaks volumes that she hadn't even responded to her.
Okay, you think it speaks volumes in one direction? I think it speaks volumes in another. Because I'm gonna tell you one thing. Me personally, I don't start something that I'm not gonna finish. Just like this conversation, you laughing over here. This conversation is not ending because we're both strong-minded
Right.
and we're going back and forth. So it doesn't matter who started this conversation, who started going in the direction. Both you and I have been talking for about 15 minutes because we're not going to back down and we have a point and we're going to get it across. Whether neither one of us thinks the other is relevant, that's off the table. But if you start something, you're going to go to finish it. Whether if the end is just agree to disagree, you're not going to back down. I'm not going to back down. So it doesn't matter what validity you believe what I'm saying holds, you're still going to respond to me. So what I'm saying is if she went ahead and she's talking slick and she's starting this and she's doing that, and then somebody comes back and does something that smashes you now, regardless of a world scale, she's a rapper from New York, a female rapper who wants to be on top. So she can be on top of money, but if you're on top of money, but everybody in your world knows that you just got smashed and you're not going to respond, that's kind of lame to me.
I just think she put the little girl in her place. That's it.
Same,
I mean, she put her in her place.
That's basically what I'm saying.
And she did, but my thing is the record doesn't do anything for Remy Ma's career. It doesn't change her positioning in my eyes. And a lot of people who think the same way that you read, same you and Vaughn, the people who think the same way that you guys do, it might boost her career a bit. But for me, it doesn't change anything. I still look at Remy Ma the same way as I did before Sheet the Drop. To me, I think she's still a run-of-the-mill MC.
I seen something different in her. I ain't know she could spit like that.
But can she put this into an entire album?
And you know what? Maybe let's hope that this will push her there.
And
It will make her go there.
and the next time Remy Ma puts out an album, we'll talk about it.
We're gonna talk about
And
it.
we'll see how good it is. And she's partnered up with Fat Joe right now, who's a strong guy to be partnered with.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have to go listen to their latest album. But Remy Ma, this just doesn't change anything for me. This is still her career achievement. And Nicki Minaj, she might not be lame. I'm not a huge fan of either one of them, to be honest. Because I think Nicki, I think she's very lazy. A lot of times, I think she could do a lot better. But I also think Remy, she just had, when you have a significant time to come up with a certain amount of lyrics, 7 minutes of lyrics. Obviously, this stuff has been building up over a long time. Whatever she was doing in jail, or if she wrote it, I'm hearing she didn't even write the stuff. I don't know how true that is. I don't know, because I don't know not Nicki, but Remy,
right?
her husband, Papoose. But whatever the case may be, I'm just saying this doesn't change anything for me about Remy Ma. She's still that same chick that whatever she went to jail for, she's more, in my eyes, she's more of a love and hip hop star to me.
I could dig it. I hear you. I just say when the first song, the original Nas Ether song came out, well, just before that, when Jay-Z went at him, I was like, oof, yeah, it's a rap for Nas. Then he came out, he smashed Jay. Now, after that, did he do Jay numbers? No, but it did resurrect his career, and he definitely continued to solidify his position as a part of the upper echelon of rap, where it would have seemed like at that point his career was probably finished.
And if you look at it that way, Nicki probably did Remy a favor, because her career was pretty much in the toilet. She was done.
Not a favor, not what she was trying to do though. But
Because, I mean,
I think
if I'm in...
that's what I call a backfire.
If I'm Jay-Z or Nas, I'm taking Jay-Z's career all day. Because I think Jay-Z, throughout history, I think he's the perfect combination of... He combined the best... He has the best combination of business acuity, lyricism, overall showmanship, everything that Jay-Z combines. I think he's the perfect embodiment of what I would want my hip-hop artist to be.
And you will definitely get no argument from me with that right there. None whatsoever.
I agree too.
Which is why I stated it very specifically the way I stated it. That it was a catalyst that did catapult his career back to a certain spot. I'm not saying that he matched Jay-Z career-wise. He just, in that particular battle, kind of smashed him. And better things came for him after that might not have.
It helped Nas, and maybe it'll do the same thing for Remy. I think eventually Remy, she won the battle, of course, but I think in the long run, I think Nicki, she'll probably win the war. I mean, it's, we still got a lot of time. I don't know how Remy's gonna transition after this. Who knows? She could turn out to be the biggest artist, but I just think it's highly unlikely. I don't know. I just don't.
And I wasn't saying that either. Like, she's gonna be, her and Adele gonna go on tour together.
No.
They're both gonna be diamond selling artists. I'm not saying that either. But I'm just saying that it's putting into place to do a lot better and to be more out front.
And I hope so. And I said it last week. I was hoping something good would come out of this for female artists, and that's still yet to be seen. It probably won't, but I think Remy had the most to benefit from this.
I'd agree with that too.
And
100%.
I mean, we'll see what happens. I think All the Way Up was huge, and I felt that their momentum kind of fell a little bit. I think they dropped their album probably 4 months too late.
Yeah, I would agree with that one too.
I think they dropped it 4 months late. Because if they dropped the latest album, the Fat Joe album, if they dropped it right around when All the Way Up
show was out, right,
when it was at its peak, and then if she hit with Sheether, maybe my response now would probably be a little bit different. But I mean, I hope for Remy's sake, I hope it does. But I mean, I give it to her. She got Nicki. I mean, it's hard to come back from that one.
Yeah.
So
Shut up, little girl. Sit down.
Yeah, it's hard to come back for him. But Nicki, she had her breast out at the fashion show.
Oh yeah, look at all sip.
I mean, I ain't mad at her. I mean,
and they had the nerve to get mad when they compared it to Lil' Kim.
Yeah, that's where she got it from.
When she had the same type of joint.
The
on.
pasty.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Nicki, I mean,
same side was out and everything.
Right.
I mean, she her entire career it's been a complete.
Based on sex.
Yeah, I was just going to say a collage of other people. She's borrowed from a lot of people. She's borrowed from Missy, Lil' Kim, and whoever else. But we'll see. But yeah, that's good discussion as always. Should have had this last week.
Yeah, that would have fit.
Yeah, we should have had this last week. I wasn't interested in it last week. Still not interested in it.
Well, he kind of made you interested.
Yeah.
You had to get your point across.
Yeah.
And I love it.
But yeah, that's it. You guys have anything else?
No, that has absolutely nothing to do with Ed Sheeran.
No.
Nothing at all. Huh. Well, I guess we need to do our shout outs.
Oh no, I'm gonna leave it in there.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully people make it that far. But yeah, that was it. So thanks audience, thanks Riggs and Vaughn again, of course. And this was episode 49.
49. See you on 50. That's
wow.
How they say it. 50.
Man, I think 2 weeks after that, that's a whole year. A whole year of Switched Out Podcast.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Appreciate y'all. I'm at the back.
A whole year of listening
cupcakes
beyond what you hear.
But audience, thanks again, and see you next week.
Peace.
Peace.